not there. They're just nubs. It's fucking not working today.
Yeah.
So you gotta like pound them out sometimes on the trail, the treadmill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Took yesterday off. Yesterday was my off day. But I'm not talking yet until we start recording.
It's already recorded.
Oh shit! How embarrassing.
I can.
I don't know stuff.
Hello.
Hello.
Did I?
Well, hello.
Hello. I can't hear anything.
I can't. I can hear something. My echo, but I can't hear anything at the same time.
Hello.
Mike check. Michael check.
Mike check.
Donald Tello. Le Rafa. Oh, there we go. So, I just got off the treadmill. I've been doing this incline biz for a couple weeks now. I bought that treadmill. Oh, you were there. You helped me pick it up.
Yeah, I went down the street. Okay.
Mm-hmm. $100 for that motherfucker.
I know. And that was I paid $1,200.
Well, how many hundreds have you got out of yours? Because I've got $100 worth already, for sure.
I was actually, because it'll be a month, like I think Saturday, since I got it. Yeah, Diet Dr. Pepper.
Hear that?
It's not as good as
That's the sound of 0 calories.
My zero calorie.
This is 0 calorie.
I know. So it's the
0 calorie, 0 fat, 0 carbs, 0 protein.
So
0 problem.
Yeah. So it's almost 12. It's almost a month since I got that, and so I'm like, today was like well, am I gonna keep it, or am I gonna call him up, or am I gonna get the row? What do I want to do? Should I just stay with Ali Love and be part of the Love Squad? Because that's one of the things I did realize this week is that Peloton's a cult.
Yeah. No, it's a fucking white. Well, not necessarily white, but it is a branding whore. The whore brand. It's like the Starbucks of fitness.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. It's not the
they
best
use
or only thing.
The brand name is like they use it like a pronoun, like Army uses soldier.
Pelotonians.
They just call you Peloton. Come on, Peloton.
Really?
Yeah, come on, Peloton. You can do this, Peloton.
Oh, they're really that's association.
See, that's what I mean.
Your exercises. So that's like kind of like in the Army. Like, look, if I was wearing PTs and a bunch of dudes were standing around me and they're like, "Hey, Sarnt, I'm gonna act a certain kind of way." If I walk in my own civvies and go into a gym where no one knows me, I'm acting completely different. The hoo-ha is the fucking shit is out of my. That's all gone. But you put me in front of a bunch of soldiers that don't know how many flutter kicks I'm about to break them off with. Let's fucking go. Come on.
Overhead arm claps.
Oh.
And go.
In cadence exercise.
Those are your arms, soldier. But you can't hold up your arms?
When they say, "Hey, what's the overhead arm clap good for?" And you're like, "Don't you know? It's so you can be better at more overhead arm clap."
It is.
Yeah, but what muscle group does it work? The overhead arm clap muscle. Stop asking questions that make sense.
Dude, it's just, you gotta do it. You gotta do it.
It's like they say the flat bench press is like one of the most pointless exercises because they're like, yeah, it pretty much just gets you stronger for more flat bench exercise. Really, if you're not doing decline or incline, you're wasting your time. You should do some flies, but just doing flat bench press is pretty... because everyone gets on there like, "Oh, how strong are you? Look how much bench I can do," and that's really complete bullshit. Like that means really nothing. And like, first of all, you're not Chuck Norris. You're not pushing the world away from you, per push up. And then if you're that strong, why are you on your back having to push something off you? Like you some mother with a helicopter baby complex?
Well,
no, you're not.
It's something we have to do.
Yeah, David.
Andy would do that to me. He would
he'd get on top of you, and you'd have to push him more.
No, he would we'd get done doing inclines and declines and flat bench.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, 100 fucking push-ups.
Overhead arm clap.
And then overhead.
Go.
No, but then we'd hit the mat, and he'd just be like, right, just like one like knocking him out, and I'm like, I can't even like.
No,
I'm
that's
like,
because he didn't do it right. Then if he can knock out that many, you remember pyramids? Pyramids are one of the most effective. Like if you're gonna do pyramids, that's different. You're working your endurance and stuff. What do they say? If you can bench press 300 pounds once, you can do it 100 times. It's just all about building your endurance.
well, yeah, but he was also the brigade, fucking weightlifting champion.
Okay, Andy. Shout out. Shout out.
That was my PT partner was
Okay.
like, yeah, he had all the fucking his medals up on his desk.
I was a master fitness trainer.
So was I.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, get over here. Nux.
Well, I did when they started switching over to the new shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and V went out there. We were like the ones that were.
Who's V?
The guy I was living with down in Texas.
Oh, so last night, me and the missus listened to our podcast that we posted. Just sitting there, chilling, smoking, like multitasking while working, and then watching something. And she suggested that we kind of skip the introduction part of, who we are, how we know each other, how we met, and then our living situation. Because she's like, if you wouldn't know any better, you two guys sound like you're like together almost, and you're always arguing. Like, where were you? Where are you going every morning? Like when I was asking you where you were driving off to every morning, and she's like, it sounds like you guys are a gay couple, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, wait, does it really? And she's like, yeah, you guys are always arguing about weird shit and stuff, and talk about random things, and
That's what guys do.
I know. I said, well, I just walked in here and put these headphones on. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not have a script. This is straight from the dome. Check it.
We're trying to be
Check
like
it.
John Berthold.
No, John Kriplin.
John
The chest.
Kriplin.
Shout out to the chest.
All day. When I'm feeling down, I do declines.
Speaking of,
Feeling ups, I do. I like to try to keep it on a flat.
all right. So you wanna start how this came to be, this beautiful relationship.
No, we don't need to do that.
Okay, I'll
now.
start. So when I was 11, we knew each other from the army. We were in Korea together. We didn't know each other in Korea, but we were in Korea together. And then when we got deployed in 2nd Infantry Division, 2nd Brigade, 2ID bitches in 04 from Korea to Iraq. David here, part of 122 Signal Brigade, came on over
Bravo Company
to support me and my unit. Yeah, okay. The unit I was in, first the 503rd Infantry Regiment, and they put their little eunuch. They put their little truck with all their cables outside of our building that we pretended to be barracks.
And then our 10K and our 5K
and that was about 20 years ago. So
that was over 20 years ago.
Something like that.
Actually, it was 20 years.
It was about 20 years ago since yeah.
Now.
And so that's it. And now, because
right now I would have been coming back from leave
20 years later. That's a long leave. Where'd Dave go? I don't know. I think he
that's kind of what it
went home to retire.
So I left like the week before Thanksgiving, but they hadn't figured it out yet. Like how?
Wait, you left around the holidays?
I left. We drew straws or whatever, and I got the one to go.
That sucks.
Like right away.
And oh yeah, it sucks leaving right away. So you went in November, which we got there in August.
Well, we got
roughly
to
July.
We got to
Kuwait.
To the shit show. That was Halloween, first week of November.
Oh, and Ramadi or Fallujah?
Ramadi.
Yeah.
Well, as everybody was going to Fallujah.
Yeah, Fallujah was.
Anyhow, I guess there was a convoy coming in. And he was out doing his American Sniper shit, and he fucking took some guy out. Right? It was like it looked really suspicious, and then Colonel Clark was like trying to hem him up for an unrighteous kill.
Oh.
And for those that don't know who Colonel Clark is, he was the only full-bird colonel to be in the command of a battalion because he got promoted right before we left. And when I was getting ready to go on that R&R leave in November, they were cutting my hair in the shower trailer next to the talk.
This is the bullshit segment. David's never had hair. Continue.
No, they were cutting off my hair. And Colonel Clark comes walking in, takes off his clothes, hangs it up on the rack, and then turns to me and Mejia, who was shaving my head, and goes...
Takes off his clothes?
Because he's getting ready to take a shower.
Oh, okay.
This is a shower trailer.
Okay.
So he takes off his clothes, hangs his shit up, and then looks at... We're like PFCs or whatever, and he's like... That's private first class. And he like just fucking knife hands us and says, hey, you guys are going to clean that shit up, aren't you? And he's literally butt fucking naked.
That's a power move.
So here I am reading fucking Chris Kyle's book, and I'm going on because he doesn't say his name right out like anything like that. But I'm like, I know who he's fucking talking. Because he says 506.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, that's full-bird colonel that fucking knife hand made.
Now 506, in case y'all didn't know, that is the historic Band of Brothers documentary or films with Friends' own Ross, one of the leads.
That's the dickhead.
Yeah, the dickhead Ross. Ross is not Ross in that shit, but he's still got a little Ross in him. He's hard to believe at first, but then you give it a few episodes, and you're like, Ross is
only in the first few episodes.
Well, okay, you give it that, and then you get it.
Like it's only like the first episode, because then he like.
I need to rewatch it. It's been a while. Well, 506 is a sister company of the Italian I was in, first 503rd, and when we were in Korea. We used to whip their fucking ass all the time.
Did 506 go back to Campbell like everybody else?
Carson? Fort Carson, Colorado? You mean when we came back from...
No, not Fort Carson. When they went... Remember when we got back?
Yeah.
Everybody got reflagged.
Yeah. First 503rd.
So 506...
got deactivated. We became 19 Mech.
Right. But did 506 go back to Campbell?
I don't know.
First 503rd went back to Italy, right?
Yeah, it did. Okay.
And if any of you at home know
or in your car.
In
the future.
Like, don't stop or do anything rash.
Don't stop believing either.
Don't stop believing. But if you guys want to fill us in on this shit.
You can leave your comments above. See, I like to say above because everyone says below, and I just think that's negative.
Just don't forget to like and subscribe.
You can dislike.
Every little bit helps the channel grow.
There's no such thing as bad press unless you're Kevin Spacey. That's bad fucking
Did you see
his thing with
Tucker Carlson?
Yeah. Oh.
And they do it just like the fucking.
Yeah, and he tries to be House of Cards, the president.
And it's just like, dude, that's just a show, right?
Yeah, okay, first of all, up until all his bullshit. That was like my favorite fucking show. He wasn't lying when he was like, I put Netflix on the goddamn map. I'm like, I don't know about that, but you are the reason I would sit there and just purge that show. And I couldn't wait for it's the only one where I was sitting there like sitting on my hands waiting for the next episode to come out or next season. But you got to get over your character of Frank. It's just a character. Like, I mean... It's just first of all, Usual Suspects. That's your jam.
Yeah, of course it is.
That's the jam. Go back with your limp and your half cardiac arrest body.
This
or K-Pack. Be a crazy alien.
K-Pack. Yeah, or the 7. Well, the thing about Usual Suspects is how it kind of because 7 came out at the same time.
7? You mean with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman?
Yeah.
Is Kevin Spacey in that?
Yeah, he's the killer.
Oh, god damn it, you're right. Shit.
That's why when it came out...
Shout out to 7.
That's why when it came out...
If you're 7, like, what?
He's the devil in Usual Suspects, or, Kaiser Sose, and then he's kind of the devil in 7. It was always like that thing, but then it's like... But then he turns out he really is that he really is that person. Like he's really that
predator.
Yeah, he's a predator.
Yeah, him and Louis C.K. could,
I can't. I never liked Louis.
I liked Louis back in the day. And then he got weird. He's like, I wake up every morning and just start beating it, and I'm like, don't say everything that comes in your head. So you don't gotta tell people.
And then look what happened when fucking Me Too happened. All of a sudden, like, everybody came
happened
out
to you
it.
too.
Well, it didn't happen to me, but I mean,
Hashtag David.
To the females, like, everybody said that he had, like, that's what he would do. He was.
I think it was Sarah Silverman that was like.
Sarah Silverman.
Yeah, she was like, I look over and he's like, can I just jack it in front of you real quick? And she's like, no, you're still Louis C.K. like in that body, that meat bag of potatoes. And even if you're Brad Pitt from Fight Club, like young Brad or whatever, no one's cool. If you're a guy and you think any girl's ever going to be turned on, that you just whip it out and start jacking it, go have a sex change. You're not a guy, because that's what girls should think. Any girl could just drop her pants and start going at it, and any guy would be like, all right, I'm not mad at that. Most, anyways. But if you're a guy and you think you're going to get a similar response, you're wrong.
I mean, if they're mentally handicapped, I probably would have to tell them no. Like, hey,
probably
you need to get that.
So you're saying there's a chance.
You need to. No, I'm just saying if they're not like fully cognitive or whatever, I would have to like step in and say no.
Yeah, no, for sure. In fact, well, that's a good point. But you know what? We're gonna stop that one right there. That's a train wreck if we continue talking about that. I'm not going down that fucking road. That's a windy one. So I noticed the poster you have on your wall, The Shining.
Yeah. Let's make.
They're gonna peel them off, and they're gonna see all these fucking Polaroid photos of people and strings, like colored strings, like that, like a cat would play with, or you'd buy at Joann Fabrics, and then you have push pins. He's always asking for more push pins and yarn, and now I know why. He's making his evil plans on his wall.
There's like no yarn.
Yeah, because it's behind your fucking posters.
Well, there are push pins.
Okay, none of this is this is true.
Thumbtacks.
Thumbtacks, a good murder weapon.
Is there a difference between a push pin and a thumbtack?
Yes, a thumbtack is flat, and a push pin is like
that's
that.
A push pin.
Yeah, it's like a really cold penis that you can just grab with your finger and thumb. Where a thumbtack is like you just plug to the giant. Okay, we're gonna move on to hey. So there's a Man of Steel poster. What are you watching? I noticed you got paused, and it's got some. It's got some characters. Looks like.
Throne of Blood.
Is that Japanese?
Yes.
Is that Is that what the language is called? Japanese, or is it called like Japanimation or something?
As far as I know, it's Japanese.
Japanese. So that's correct.
I don't know if it's. I don't know.
Like not Mandarin. Like if I say Chinese, it's not Chinese. It's.
Well, Chinese has a ton of different dialects.
Yeah. Speaking of dialects.
Korean is like what? What do they call Korean when we're?
Call it Korean.
Have you seen? Yeah, I gave you my copy of Parasite.
Yeah.
Did you watch it yet? No.
No, not yet. I had to come over here. I was about to watch it.
Oh yeah, you were about to watch it. I was
about to watch it. I was going to watch it tonight.
Because I loaned it to you like what, 3 months ago?
It was probably 3.
It was like October.
That's a month. Yeah,
that was like, and we're now 2024. Oh, speaking of which, that means Fight Club is 25 years old.
I've seen it about 28 times.
I've seen it probably. I don't need to watch it ever again.
No, I could. In fact, I could quote most of it. Imagine you're me. You find this. What would you do? Well, I gotta tell you, I'd be very, very careful who I talk to about that, because the person who wrote that is dangerous. And this Oxford cloth button-down psycho might just snap, stalking from office to office, pumping AR-15 leads into everybody he sees. Might be someone you've known for years. I didn't quote that perfectly, but the first part was pretty good. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Then he punches himself in the face.
Or maybe
right?
you shouldn't just bring me every little piece of trash that you happen to pick
okay,
up.
Yeah.
No, that's before he kicks his own ass. I'm
Right.
kicking my ass. You
And
mind?
then he like
Shopping cart rolls out with
and he's
the.
like whistling. I love that always.
I know, and in the whistle, I always hear the Kill Bill theme for whatever reason, even though it was before Kill Bill. Like,
Well, that's off. That's
what?
off of Quincy Jones, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it's off of one of his theme songs, I think.
Have you heard of the movie
I think.
Gingerbread Man and the Evil Bong or whatever the fuck?
No.
When I called you earlier, I was looking up the like producers and writers of that, and I'm like, this seems like a movie.
Is that why you were calling
Yeah,
me?
yeah. And I was like, this seems like these are David's people. Like he knows these guys. And then I tried to watch it, and the missus and I got about 5 minutes into it, and I had to turn it off. And then I got excited. You want to know why?
No.
Because it was such a piece of shit. I was like, how could David and I not make it? If this shit's making it on Netflix, dude, we're good. Like, this the worst.
It's on Netflix?
It's on fucking Netflix, bro. And it's
I just like, you call me up and you start rattling off names. I'm like, are you just looking at IMDb?
First of all, I don't get into that kind of crazy stuff.
And then you're like, you keep asking me, and I'm like, this is like that Fort Bragg question. I know a
What
guy.
Fort Bragg? Oh, yeah, I do.
know a guy
I know.
at
I go.
Fort Bragg,
I know.
and
Yeah,
he's
no.
wearing-
Johnson, right? You know Johnson?
Johnson, he wears green.
Yeah, oh, yeah. No,
He's
he's
got a
a
patch.
specialist. He's got that flag on his arm.
Yeah, he's got a flag just like
You know the guy with
do.
the flags? I think that means like they're enlisted or something.
Right, or they could be commissioned.
He's in that one unit with that captain.
You know what I want to know? Okay, if you're an office, like I was watching on Star Trek, right, where he like
Old or new?
new the one with Chris Pine.
Okay.
But he's like, hey, you need to enlist. But I'm like, he's gonna become an officer. Is that is it considered enlisting even though you're gonna get a commission? Is enlisting just getting in?
Yeah, you still have to swear in. It's still enlisting. You're just not enlisted.
You're just not commissioned yet.
Yeah. Because you still have to go through the basic shit before you commission. Where enlisted, you're automatically that fucking P1. I came in as a P1. What about you? You come in with any accolades?
I came in with P2.
I was supposed to come in with P2. In fact,
you got promoted to sergeant before me.
Yeah, I made sergeant in 2 years, 11 months.
Did you get pinned before we left Iraq or after?
just happened to be the next room over, but the wall that separated the rooms was, you know, the wall that our beds happened to be on, that layout. And so I'd ask him, I'm like, can you please rearrange your room so your bed is like, you're fucking my shit up, dude. You're knocking fucking posters off my wall. And not that this matters, but it does because of what we're talking about. He was this big bald-headed white guy with 3 gold teeth. And he had a different fucking black girl in there all the time. Like, he would not fuck with any white bitch. Yeah, and he liked them juicy, man. Yeah. And then Rob and I would just come over there drunk as fuck, knock on his door, and he'd be like, what do you faggots want? He would walk in, we'd be like, hey, Corporal. And he'd be like, shut the fuck up. And we'd be like, hey, we're going to punch you in the arm. And he's like, get the fuck away from me. And we'd go after there and punch him. And we basically just provoke him to where he would literally whoop our ass on the floor.
Tall, was he?
No, he was like 5'7", maybe 5'6".
So it was like my height.
Oh, dude, funniest story I have with this dude. So we finished a PT test, and we're doing the height and weight, you know, afterwards, right?
Right.
And then he's a big you remember, pure fucking muscle.
Yeah.
Pure muscle.
Yeah.
Like, barely any fat on this dude. Just solid muscle, but short and thick, though. So they're like, hey, you're over your weight, you know, and he's like, all right. So they got to tape him. So they tape his neck and they taped his waist, you know, the thing that the military does to check for body fat. And they say he fails the body fat thing according to the numbers. The numbers were bullshit, and they always were, and that's why people called that test out. But for him, I remember I'm standing there in this, like, ops room in Korea, and there's this, like, wall lockers next to us by where the weight machine was, the scale we're getting on. And someone's like, yeah, you're going to be flagged. You're going to have to go on remedial PT because you busted tape. And he looks at this, like, high-ranking NCO, it's like E7 or something, and he goes, bitch, what? And he punches the locker and just destroys this locker. He's just, like, so mad. He's like, what? Just fucking nails it. And I'm standing right there, and he goes, you just call me fat? And I was like, oh, shit, this is so weird. And then the guy's like, yeah, you know what? None of this makes sense to me either. And he just rips up his shit, and he goes, you can go. But then he looks at me, and he goes, but you, Private Harvey, you are fat. You failed. You're going to go on remedial. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, for me, it made sense at the time. But for Threaton, no, it did not make sense.
He just takes out a wall.
Dude, he was pissed. He's like, and I swear, he might have dropped the N-word, you know, like, even, like, but I'm not going to say it right now. But he was just like, he's like, motherfucker, what? Bam! And just punches the wall. And I couldn't help but laugh, but he looked so pissed. And so later on that day, or maybe it was the next day, I tell Robin about it, and I'm like, hey, let's go over next to his room and give him shit and call him Fat Boy. And so we go over there and I'm like, hey, Fatty, you want to go for a run? He's like, motherfucker. Oh, dude. Oh, Derek, I think it was Derek, right? Derek Treatment.
He fucking busted his femur, right? Like, doing that aerial.
We were doing we were doing an aerial antenna. He's about 12 or 15 feet above the ground on the other side of the MSR Michigan.
Yeah. And then
he falls and breaks his leg, his femur. And hey, shout out, man, because I don't want you whipping my ass, dude. We love you, brother. But they fucking give him 25 G's and send him home from Iraq for that. And he's just grinning. He's like, I broke my... You remember he had a high voice like Mike Tyson?
25 G's?
Yeah, dude. Because you get injured over there, it's like, you know, hey, here's your money. If you lose a finger, a toe, or an arm and a leg, it's all 50 grand. You hurt yourself and have to be taken out of theater. It was 25 G's at the time. He gets 25 grand. He gets home about, I'd say 3 or 4 months before us or so. You know, he left theater early. Yeah. And I get back, and I remember he had this, like a Chevy Avalanche type of vehicle. Yeah. You know, like an SUV truck thing. And he had like a $5,000 sound system in that. I remember him telling me, he's like, got this baby installed the other day. Like, AutoZone comes with like 5 G's, and this truck was like 15. He's like, I still got 5 over for the bitches. I be picking honeys up in this every day. And I'm like, dude, what? And he's like, let me show y'all Colorado Springs. And he's looking this huge, short, pure muscle, bald white dude. But he was a good motherfucker. He was funny.
Well, I remember they were going through under his bunk when they were packing his shit up, and they found
the grenades.
They found the grenades. And there was like a brick of C4, and they had like
hey, Illuminati.
What?
You don't have to put. No, I'm joking. Enough times. 20 years have passed. We're good.
No, but the thing was, he had like 2 rolls of like fucking battalion coins. Not the good ones, but the.
I don't remember that, but
yeah,
I do.
he had like, they were like, I remember people were like going, how the fuck did he get a bunch of battalion coins? Because he had it, they were in rolls.
Oh, you mean that were given him to him, awarded to him before?
No, they were like the same
our battalion?
coin, but like they were all.
He
like,
stole a sleeve of coins.
There was like he had a sleeve or 2 of coins, a brick of C4, and then fucking the grenades.
Oh.
But everyone was like, "What the fuck does he have C4 for? Where do you fucking get that shit?" Like,
well, I mean, if you were there, those of you listening, you would see exactly where we got C4 and fucking grenades and caches of AKs and Saddam Hussein money. And did you ever do the prison guard over there?
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Do you know my story? What happened? Why I got taken off of it? Because I was like, I don't know if I want to tell that story right now. Never mind.
We should probably.
I don't know if there's a time limit on war crimes. So
all I'm gonna say is that like
I did prison guard and then I didn't.
Abu Ghraib happened right the month or 2 before we left.
You mean all those photos of the naked?
Yeah.
That's why it was taken so serious. Yeah.
Like,
I didn't do no pyramids of naked fucking terrorists or anything like that. I might have kept the terrorists that we had in capture and we were guarding. They would. Okay, I'm going to tell a little bit of the story. The care packages that would come over for us, for U.S. soldiers, like mink blankets, remember, like food and hygiene stuff. That was, care packages that people from the U.S. would just send to soldiers
Sergeant
overseas.
Kriplin's protein.
And yes, Kriplan, the chest. Shout out to the chest.
The only man that can ejaculate chocolate
They would.
protein.
I'm sitting there freezing my ass off. It's like it's November, December, and yeah, it's the desert. But when it's the swing of 80 degrees, it's fucking cold. Guard, or the sergeant of the guard, maybe it was the SOG, because I was just a private first class or whatever at this point. And he's like, "Can I have another blanket, sir, please, sir?" And he gave him blankets, and this dude curls all up on this fucking cot, all comfy, and it happened to be a guy that took someone out in our unit that day on a fucking raid. Like, he killed one of our boys, and I'm sitting there with a fully loaded M4. And it ain't sitting right with me that this dude's curled up fucking sleeping while I'm freezing my ass off. So I got up and I fucking took the blanket from him. I'm like, "Bitch, you don't fucking get this." And then when he started sleeping still, I just started maybe throwing pebbles in his general direction to keep him awake. And then eventually it proceeded to give me your fucking cot and stand in the corner. And you're not sleeping. You're not fucking sleeping. And I'm sorry if that's wrong. Fuck you guys. He took one of our boys out. I didn't hurt him or anything. And I just Harvey, come look at this. And I walk over there, and there's just this huge pile of shit on the backside of the hole. Like, not in the hole. Because they what? They squat above the holes, you know, and over there. And then they just bend down in their robes and then take a bottle of water and splash some sand and water on their fucking vaginas and then, you know, go durka somewhere else. But,
they would go to the
but yeah, it was just like that. You could see the dudes went in there, climbed on top of, you know, the fucking platform and shit on the backside. And it was like a lot of shit. And then after a while, like years later, I was like, I'm pretty sure he didn't miss the giant hole. He was just being a dick. And he's like, fuck you guys. But maybe he missed it. I don't know.
After going to Kuwait, I could see how that would maybe happen.
Yeah.
Like being stationed there. Yeah, you remember when we like went through Beering? Like originally?
Yeah.
And like how they had all the outhouses and everything. Everything was just fucking... Yeah, it took us like 3 hours to drive up there because there was no fucking asphalt.
Yeah.
Like,
God,
yeah, so then...
That's so bad.
Fucking... I go back 2008. I get stationed there, down at Arifjan. And like, it's all paved. Everything. It's like...
Must be nice.
Big USO shows and all this other shit. And I'm just like... That's when I was just like...
That's not...
That's when I realized we were in the
really shittiest of the shit.
We were in the real shit. Like, this is
Wait,
just...
you're talking about, in Korea, right?
Yeah, we went from Korea
so,
to, like...
that build-up they had. Do you remember the air assault mission they had where they strapped a Humvee and then that fucking Chinook, it broke from the straps and dropped like 600 fucking feet. And I'm standing out there with Ballard and we see this thing go chink, and it's like all of a sudden it's 3 straps and then 2 and then... And then you see it disappear once it hits the umbrella of the trees. And you see this huge fucking cloud of smoke. Not fireball, but like smoke and like debris come up. And then like 1001, 1002, 1003. After you see it, you boom! Because it was that far away. and we're like, what the fuck? Well, like 3 or 4 days later, it shows up right outside of our ops tent. And it is smashed to the level of my fucking dick. Like it went from being equal to, you know, height almost, like as you're standing next to it, to like a third of the height sitting off the ground. I mean, it was like a crushed soda can. It was, and it sat there for a while. And then I don't know if you remember, but shortly after that, within that within that field exercise, the Sergeant Major of the Army came. Remember?
Yeah.
And he had a fucking first sergeant assistant. He had his own private porta-john, which is important because you brought up the shitters there. They were overflowing about, this is not an exaggeration, about what, 3-4 feet above the cut in the hole. Like there's just human shit piled up everywhere. No one would come out there to empty it. People were having to literally hike out in the woods to shit. It was so unclean and so disgusting. Well, then the Sergeant Major of the Army is coming to go see our progress, and a day before he gets there, they bring in this like fresh, you know, outhouse porta-john, an actual rubberized one. Ours were all makeshift pieces of wood, just like in Iraq, and they put like a barrier around it, you know, and then they put a guard in front of it, and they're like, no one's allowed to use this besides the Sergeant Major. And Ballard's like, fuck that. And the day before the Sergeant Major comes, David Ballard goes in there, takes a big healthy shit, sneaks in there that night to take a shit. And then the first sergeant that's escorting the Sergeant Major of the Army, I'm glad I don't remember his name because I don't want to bust him out there. He was his assistant, and one of the things he did was after every time the Sergeant Major used that outhouse, he went in there and fucking scrubbed it down. A first sergeant scrubbing down and it made no goddamn sense at all. That's your taxpayer dollars going to fucking work, folks. But Ballard totally cresting that fucking shit, man. He's like, no, Sergeant Major of the Army ain't gonna have the first shit in this thing. Dude. I am, and I didn't blame him. I just didn't have the cojones to fucking do that.
Bringing up a lot of memories,
I know.
Of Korea, but also, Einfeld had to go do Taekwondo in front of Sergeant Major.
Of the Army?
Yeah.
That's weird.
So that's what, like, when he said that, like, oh yeah, that's right, because Einfeld had to be the same time.
That's fucking weird.
No, but for some reason, like, that whole thing, for some reason lately, I've been thinking about how, like, right when I got to 4-9, One of the strikers pancaked a fucking truck right out Eastgate Road. Like right where it forks.
I remember that.
Like right where
I remember hearing about that.
It was like I said, like an old Ford F-150 or something.
What year was that?
That was 2009.
Yeah, I was stationed here.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I was here till September 2010.
Okay.
From
we deployed
December 06 to October 10.
Well, we had
Ish.
4-9 just had. I think we had the guys too that were like going up to. Yeah, so you probably remember like they were going up. The infantry dudes were going up to UW in Seattle, and like ripping off like students.
No.
Like they'd go up on a Saturday night when everybody's like clubbing and stuff, and they would like find them on campus, like around the U district, and like hold them up, like mug them.
Oh no shit.
And then come back, and finally they got caught, and it was just like, that's a long ass fucking drive.
Well, you don't fuck around your own area code.
Yeah, but I mean they're gonna have. I mean, I just
for crimes.
Yeah, they're just like going up, and then
or anything else.
We were having like a rash of. There's the one guy I was like trying to explain it to Austin about shit, like just.
It's a different.
Just how like
oh,
I'm like no dude like what about the dude? I was when I was explaining when he was like all like freaking out about his guns and stuff, like just talking stupid shit about guns, and I'm like no dude.
Steve. You talking? Oh.
Not Austin.
Oh, okay.
The kid.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm like, he's like all like, so then I'm like, no, dude, what about this? What about guys coming back from the club, fucking run into a tree, ejects his buddy, so he throws.
That's what I was, and then put him in a dumpster.
Put him in a dumpster.
I remember that.
And he died of exposure.
And you know why these things aren't known? Because the military is very good about keeping shit that happens with PR like this buried.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember specifically being told, by our command, like they had a big old fucking, I can't use the word, like they had a fucking assembly basically, and they're just like, hey, if you're ever anywhere, especially off post, like limit your in uniform stuff because there's like reporters and shit all over. And at this time, I used to drive into Madigan Gate early in the morning before PT. And I'd stop by this like 7-Eleven or gas station, and I'd get this $1.05 fucking shitty gas station coffee because I was broke. Yeah. And I remember it's like 4:50 or barely after 5 in the morning, and I'm sitting there and I'm walking out with my coffee, and this lady just walks out of her car. She sees me in my PTs, and she fucking shoves a microphone in my face. And she's like, "What can you tell me about blah blah blah?" And they had taught us to rehearse this like bullet statement, like, blah blah blah, and basically just cold, stonewall them and be like, I can't give away any information or talk about anything, and kind of thing, and limit it. Well, I say the bullet statement, and then she's like, all right, off the record, and I go, off the record? I go, this is what I heard, and then she kept the microphone there, and I go, oh wait, no, I didn't hear anything, and she goes, it's off the record. I'm like, why are you recording it? And she goes, I just record it, to have a record of it. And I looked at her, and she just she walked away. I was like, dumb you just sounded.
Okay, God, when was it? It had to be like, we got back from, so it was probably 2011. I want to say New Year's.
Yeah.
Everybody was on leave, like everybody was on Exodus, and so I'm on. So yeah, all these the big fucking optic things that are on the strikers, for the infantry strikers.
Yeah.
We don't have them. So the sighting things, right? They're like $250,000 each, right? At least, right? So all this shit comes up missing. Fucking. Since we're the signal company, we're not really part of the battalion, but we are. We're okay. We can go home and do whatever we want. But Charlie Company gets locked down, and I have staff duty. So this is the first time I ever got on YouTube. And so I'm like, I think Brian Cobb, I think he was my runner at the time. So we were like, yeah, it probably was, because that's right around the time he got to the unit. And so somebody called asking about like, why aren't you guys gonna set them free? Like they're all like on the phone, like you need to set Charlie Company free. It's like no, somebody fucked up. like so I'm just sitting there. I'm all like it's like 4 or 5 in the morning, right? Like right when you're like really fucking punchy.
Yeah.
And so I'm all like, dude, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And like I just hang up, and then so so you go home and everything, and then like I'm in my office and I'm like doing whatever, platoon sergeant shit. And all of a sudden, my commander like sticks his head and he's like, all like, "Hey, Sergeant Knott, come down to my office." I'm like, "Who, sir? Who?" So like, I'm right now.
I say who. I
Well.
say who this on.
So he goes in there and he's like, "What's this?" And he's the space bar, and it's like, you don't have a fucking clue or whatever.
He said, "What's this?" and pointed to a space bar.
He's just like he just plays the clip of me saying it, and I'm just all, I didn't know. I thought I was getting in trouble. He's like, yeah, everybody just
calling you out, fucking with you.
It was so funny. Yeah, everybody's just all. But I would do that though. I would like get on because I knew when First Sergeant was having his meetings, so I would get online and I'd find some really weird shit to send him. Like, so he'd get the email right as he's like giving First Sergeant meetings. So I found like it was like
you blew up on his DM.
The Flaming Lips had like they were like selling these like life size it was gummy fetuses, right? And they had like a thumb drive inside the gummy fetus. That's how you had to get to the album.
What the hell?
So you had to like get it. So it's all these really. This is like, so I used to be sending this shit to First Sergeant, and he'd be like, "God damn it, not what? Look at this! Look, what does he say? It's like a fetus. It's a gummy fetus. It's a gummy fetus with it's got the hard drive." I miss First Sergeant.
And on that note, I would like to cordially invite you over for dinner if you'd like.
Right now?
Yeah.
What are you gonna?
It's chicken and rice and green beans. It's coming out of the oven, and I'm hungry. And she just said, "You're welcome to come grab a plate as well if you'd like."
I can't eat it.
And I figured you were gonna say that, but I was still gonna invite you because it'd be rude not to. You do live across my driveway.
I know.
Well, technically, anyways, yeah. I gotta wrap this.
You gotta wrap this up.
Penis and put it inside.
Okay, we got
the chest. You can cut that part out.
What the chest? Okay.
This is Josiah signing out.
This is David.
And he knows his name is David.
We'll get back to this later.
Yeah, this is a fun topic. We're gonna have to do more of a rambling on. Rambling.
Yeah, I want to go. That was the other thing I was thinking about the last one. It's like we start shit and we gotta like finish.
We gotta finish it.
But I think we finished.
I think we finished this. I'm gonna grab a towel and wash my hands. That's how finished we are. Okay. Thanks, buddy. This was
problem,
fun.
buddy.
This was fun.
You can just come on over.
Okay. Come on over.
Because that's the thing I wanted to say though.
I might be back over tomorrow.
When you asked about writing.
Let's do tomorrow again.
I realized like really we just have to do this as much as we can.
Yeah, and let's do it tomorrow again.
That's the only way we get ideas to write
tomorrow again. Yeah, no, because rambling will give us ideas. We gotta listen and go, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, the chest. And then get my ass beat by 3.
I got 58 minutes worth of shitty footage.
Nice.
So like put over it now.
Nice.
So I'm just gonna that's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Property of David, not Neris.
Yeah. No, it's bad graphic.
I know, but studios.
Okay, I gotta. Okay.
All right.
We'll be signing off now.
3, 2, nipple.